Okay, so we have a freshly machined L28 here. This is the original engine out of the Datsun. And I know that originally, the plan for this car all along was to put the 2J in it. But I've decided to go a different direction. I think that with all the research I've been doing and being on the forums and all that, the swapped Datsuns don't really sell for more than an original engine that's nicely rebuilt. Okay, they just don't bring the money. So not that I'm like right away selling this car, but I always look to the future. And to me, like if the numbers don't make sense, then I'm not going to do it. So that 2J can always go into anything. We can put it in anything. So I decided that I would just do a nice little rebuild on this L28. I went ahead and just picked up some cast pistons. Okay, this is going to be like a stock rebuild. I'm not going for power on this. We're just going for reliability and originality. Okay. So I had to go a millimeter over on the bore because this cylinder here, number 4, or what is that? No, that's 3. So yeah, number 3 had some pretty bad pitting in it, and the rest of the cylinders look good except this one. I would have just honed it and redone it that way with some new rings, but I went ahead and just said, you know what, we'll get some new pistons. These are cast pistons. Okay, and they're 1 millimeter over. The manufacturer, I'll give you guys the part number here. I got the box. That's the manufacturer, and there's the part number. So yeah, they're not forged pistons. I didn't want to go to the expense of forged pistons and all that comes with that, where, the forged pistons, you need a floating pin, which means these are the stock rods. They would have had to been bushed and honed, and it would have been a lot more expense. So these are just the original pressed in pins. So I took these to the machine shop when I had the bore done, and he pressed the pins on for me too. So the machine shop I use, I'll give you guys I'll give them like a shout out. The machine shop is in Spring Hill, Florida. They're the ones who did my 2J, and it's been great. The 2J's, the machine work on it was awesome. And this was no different. He did a really good job on this too. It's Scotty's Race Engines in Spring Hill, I believe. I believe it's Spring Hill. But they do a lot of like race engines, mostly like big block Chevy, small block Ford, whatever. But they do also do inline 6s. The 2Js and the L28s. I wasn't sure if he would do the L28 stuff, but he said no problem, bring it in. And I mean, look at it, it looks great. So I had him do, the bore and a deck and new freeze plugs, and basically wash it in their whatever, their steam cleaner or however they do it. I went ahead and painted it. I taped everything off and painted it myself. So yeah, it looks amazing. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys just a few things here on the rebuild. On what I've learned, on what the ring gap should be and all that. So the story with this engine is it didn't have very many miles, okay? This engine only had around 50,000 miles on it. I thought maybe that the odometer flipped, and it had more miles on it, but now that I look at the bearings, I'll show you guys. This is the bearings that are in it. I don't know if you can tell or not, but the bearings are like in really, really good shape. I mean, it still looks like it has the gray coating on it. Okay, so I am not going to replace those bearings, and neither did I have to replace the bearings in the mains. They looked like brand new. So there is no reason if bearings look like that, there's no reason to put new ones in. But what we do need to do is we need to make sure that all the rings fit properly and we have the correct gap, okay? So there's a formula you can use on the ring gap. I know it's the bore times 0.045 for 0.0045 for the top ring, and 0.0050 for the second ring. And then you want to do like 15 thousandths on the oil ring. So in this instance, it comes out to around 16 thou for the top ring and 17 thou for the bottom ring, roughly. You want to round because obviously you don't have feeler gauges that are in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gap these rings at the top 16 and the bottom 17, or the second ring 17. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of that in this video. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was the cylinder head. This cylinder head is actually a refurbished cylinder head. I picked this up offline for around 800 bucks, okay? I originally was going, let me take you out in the other room here. I was originally going to use the original head, which it's the same part number as far as like the casting number is the same, but there are some differences, okay? The head I bought, it was a newer head. I'm not 100% sure which models they came on, maybe the ZX like in the 80s. But as you can see, the reason I had to replace this was because this needed some extensive work. The number 3 cylinder, which I just told you about, needed the bore. The pitting on the valve seats is really bad. So this was going to need new valve seats. It would need some new fresh valves because the valves are somewhat pitted. Let's see if we can see that. So this is the cylinder it sat in, and you can see the pitting. Okay, I tried to clean this up, and my plan was to reuse this head, but it just wasn't going to work out. So, you know, by the time I would have bought new valves, replaced valve seats, had this all, you know, cleaned up and decked and all that, it would have cost me more than $800, okay? So that's the reason I went ahead and just picked up this refurbished head. Now, the differences are, well, let me go over this real quick. So as you can see, it's got like a recessed combustion chamber here. That's a little different than the head I bought. So let's go take a look at the head I got. You can see the combustion chamber is different. It's more of like a traditional style combustion chamber with the heart shape and, you know, with the quench area here. So what this head is going to do is it's going to add a little compression, probably like a point to the compression. You know, I think that the newer, this is called the Maxima N47. From what I've read online and all the forums, the Maxima N47 was a later model. I'm guessing probably because of the fuel that was available in the 70s was not as good as the fuel available in the 80s. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But the casting number is exactly the same, but the combustion chambers are different. So anyway, so as far as, you know, the cam and all that, it's all going to remain stock. It should all bolt onto this. There should be no change in the valve train geometry or anything like that. So, and everything else should also bolt to it. But anyway, I'll show you guys just, you know, maybe gapping the rings and how you do that. And I know you guys have seen this before. It's not a big deal. I just kind of wanted to, this video was more just to kind of let you guys know which direction I'm going into and that the JZ is not going back in there. There was some other stuff that kind of factored into my decision too. Like cutting out some of the mounts for the transmission. I was not that fond of doing that. I kind of want to keep the car more original and not cut up. The only thing I've really cut up on the car is to put the fuel cell in, and that's it. Everything else, I haven't really done anything as far as cutting it up. The other thing, another thing that I would have had to do is modify the front of the car a little bit to run an intercooler. So there's the intercooler there. I would have had to kind of made some brackets and cut off that. There's a bracket down here I would have to cut off in order to fit the intercooler. And I don't know what else I would have had to cut, but I don't know. I just kind of changed my thought process on it. And I want to make this more of like a cruiser, a fun car to drive, not like a street monster that, can beat everything. I just don't care about that. You know, that's what this car is for, to go fast. This car, it's just not like that. It's not, I mean, it'll be quick enough with the rebuilt engine and whatever it makes, 180 horsepower. I don't know, I don't care. The main point is that we're gonna be able to bolt the transmission back in, bolt the drive shaft back in. Everything's gonna fit perfect. And that's kind of what I want. I want the easy, I want to stay more original. The plan for the induction is going to be, I want to run it on ECU Master, the ECU. I'm going to use the original intake, but we're going to shave it. I've seen this done before. Let's see if I have the intake over here. Yeah, the intake is right there. So I've seen those intakes like shaved and then like polished or painted, and they look really good. So we'll do that, plus like maybe an aftermarket throttle body, maybe something off of like a 240SX or something, because I'm running a cable throttle now, which I converted it to cable throttle because of the JZ, okay? So anyway, the cable throttle will be better than that huge linkage thing. So we're gonna do that. But anyway, let me get my ring gapping tool set up, and I'm gonna show you guys gapping the ring, and then this video will be over. I just wanted to kind of show you the new direction. All right, so square up the ring in there with that. Check, we're gonna go for 16 thou on the feeler gauge. And that's a no-go there. So 15 is trying to go, but it's a little tight. So let's go ahead and we'll touch that up and see if we can get it to give us 16 thou. All right, so we touched it up on the Ring Gapper 9000 here, and let's go try it out. So I do recommend not gapping your rings in the same room or area as you're assembling your engine. You don't want that dust going all over your cylinders or your freshly machined engine. So square it up. I try to go to the same place every time. Just pick a spot on your piston that you can square it up. All right, 15 slides in perfect. Let's see if 16 does. Yep, with a little bit of drag, which is right where you want it. So that's perfect. Okay, so I'm not going to show you all these. You do them all the same way. You know, it's not like you've seen this a million times before. I'll just give you like a tip or two. When you're doing your rings, I got this little rotary tool set up here with a diamond wheel, and I just kind of rigged it up to where, you know, I make sure this is square to where the rings, you know, fit in this little groove here, and it keeps it square. So you want this square to your jig here. And then you want the tool, the rotary tool, to be on the side that spins towards the ring. So, okay, so this spins this way, so it's going towards the ring, if that makes sense. You don't want to be spinning the other direction. So if I was to flip this over to here, it would be spinning the other direction and kind of, oh, let me show you on the ring. So you want the ring to be filed this way. So you're not chipping the outside of the ring. If anything, you're not going to chip the inside, but you don't want to do any damage to the outside of the ring. So this ring here, we'll pull it out. This one's all set. Okay, this is the top ring. So all you do is just keep it with your number 6 piston, and we'll go down the line and do all these and the assemble it. So pretty simple. this little room here, I kind of converted to a little engine clean room. So I'm going to be doing whatever engine builds I do, I'll be doing in this room, because it'll just be a better level of cleanliness and, you know, get a better result in the end. So, but anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Just wanted to show you guys what we're doing as far as the new direction on the engine and the 280. And then the 2J, who knows what we'll put that in? I don't know. I have ideas, but that'll come down the road. Anyway, that's going to do it. Check you all later.